Are you a mature adult who believes this new chapter in your life is the start of something exciting? Life after 50 is brimming with new opportunities. Welcome to Seniors Rule, Age Like a Warrior. Join your hosts Robin Clare and Rebecca Sears as they explore what it means to age like a warrior, taking control of your journey, embracing the challenges of aging with resilience, and making a positive impact on your life and the world around you. Get ready to shatter the stereotypes of aging and prove that seniors truly rule. It all starts now. Welcome back to Seniors Rule, Age Like a Warrior, the podcast where aging means living boldly, fully, and with heart. I'm Robin Clare.
And I'm Rebecca Sears. Today's episode is about relationships and families, how our roles evolve as we age, and how we can nurture those bonds with love, patience, and grace.
Mm-hmm. Whether you're a grandparent, partner, parent, sibling, or friend, this stage of life offers a powerful opportunity to deepen connection and rediscover meaning in our relationships.
Let's start with how family roles shift. Maybe we go from being full-time caregivers to trusted advisors, from daily doers to wise observers.
Yeah, according to a Pew Research study, 27% of adults aged 60 and older in the U.S. live in multi-generational households, up from just 15% in 1990. We're more connected across generations than ever, which is interesting because it used to be, it probably was much higher in the past, and then we went to this more, having everybody having their own homes, but it seems like it's coming back. That's a big increase, though. I think that's kind of nice, actually.
It is nice, but that can also lead to more complexity.
Yes.
So expectations change, and that can sometimes lead to
Yes.
tension.
Yeah, and so I was thinking about this. So we have a home in Pennsylvania that my great-grandparents built. And so I'm in Gen 4, my kids are in Gen 5, and the grandkids are in Gen 6, nieces and nephews, grandnieces and nephews. And so we had like a lot of people there this weekend, 16, and we wanted to take a family picture. And we always take the family picture on the porch. And typically, the elders sit in chairs behind everybody on the steps, and my husband and I sat in the chairs. And when I sent it to my cousins, they're like, "Yikes, you're in the chair. You're in the chair." And I'm like, I knew exactly what they meant because when we were kids, our great grandmothers sat in the chair, like then our grandmothers, then our parents, right? Were the ones sitting in the chair. Now we're sitting in the chairs. And I said, I know it probably surprised you, but honestly, that's who we are. We're the elders now in our family, right? So, my kids always say that when my mom is there, today is actually the 3rd anniversary of her passing. And when my mom comes around, there's always like a bunch of butterflies. And so there were butterflies coming in and out of the picture. I'm like, Ma, just stay over here for just a moment so we can take the picture. But I mean, she was probably loving it that all of her little ones were there, enjoying it. So I don't know, just sharing that our positions change, right, in the family, but it can upset you, or you can just embrace it as being fortunate. Right.
Right.
So
let's talk about bridging generations. We've heard from listeners who read bedtime stories over Zoom, who learn TikTok dances with their grandkids. I love that. That's kind of one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Or who teach their grown children family recipes.
Yes. That's my favorite thing. I'm constantly sharing those recipes. And I love it. So that's the beauty of shared experience. Research from Generations United found that 92% of Americans believe intergenerational activities help reduce loneliness and improve quality of life for the older adults.
And for younger people, it builds empathy and respect.
Yeah. So nurturing intergenerational relationships. So here are some ideas that you can do. One is create shared purpose, right? Make it a collaboration that you're doing things together, not just someone saying, "Hey, do this with me," or "Oh, you got to go visit your grandmother." Like make it something that everybody's excited about doing. Um, Promote mutual mentoring, right? You got to listen as well as share
Mm,
wisdom because boy, the kids today are
so
real,
wise.
they're so wise, they're so informed, and so you can learn a lot from listening to the younger generations. Um, Design inclusive spaces for all ages, like make sure that everybody is comfortable in the spaces that you're going to visit so that
Mhm.
someone doesn't need to leave early or is not comfortable. Celebrate shared events, so, just celebrate them as a family. Um, it was a lot of work for me this weekend, 16 people for lunch
Mm,
and everybody running around, but I absolutely loved it,
I do too.
right?
I love hosting
Yeah.
everyone at our home.
Because it was such a gift to
Hmm.
have everybody together. So challenge ageist assumptions. So as I shared earlier, we went to this event and there was a room we walked in after hors d'oeuvres, and it had these two words, ageism, adultism. And I
Hmm.
was like, wow, I never heard of adultism. So obviously we know what ageism, and
Hmm.
that's when we don't treat our elders or our seniors or our mature folks with respect and we don't offer them the same types of opportunities that
Right.
somebody else may receive.
Or we discriminate based on age.
Discriminate based on age. So then they had this word adultism,
Hmm.
which is the opposite, is when we say that young people are
Hmm.
incapable of making a decision or doing something. They don't know what's best for their own children. They
Hmm.
don't know what's best for the family, for their careers, and we just keep like stepping in to tell them you don't you we're saying you don't have enough information or you don't have enough knowledge or experience to make your own decision.
Or the assumption that young people aren't capable.
Oh, yeah,
I
right.
remember when I bought my first house, I was 26. My husband was 28. We bought a four-bedroom colonial, and our neighbors came to the house and asked to speak to our parents.
Yeah.
And then we explained that the house was ours, and our neighbor had the audacity to ask if our parents had paid for half the home, which was not the case. We just our own
Yeah.
home.
So,
Right.
so for our senior aging warriors, just keep that in mind that we have to give our younger family members and colleagues and friends the benefit of the doubt.
Right. And also just remember that it all comes down to love, right? The
Yeah.
connection that we have
Yes.
to, I have a niece that's 7. My brother is 9 years younger than I am. And our relationship is almost like a grandmother and a grandchild because my
Yeah.
mother passed away, of course, a year ago.
Yeah.
And sometimes I do the silliest things with her, but I always remember the feeling my grandparents gave me when I walked into the room. My grandmother's face would light up, her arms would open up,
Yeah.
and I would know that I was the most special person that had entered
Yes.
the space. And I do the same thing for May, and we're so close. And the smallest things, the things I do with her that I think are the least exciting, all of it's exciting to her because she
Yeah.
feels so loved.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and that you're paying so much attention to her, which
Mm.
is so
Well,
lovely.
she's special.
Yes, right. And so we just have an activity here, a legacy letter. Write a letter to your children or grandchildren, sharing a story from your life and a lesson learned. It's a gift of wisdom and love. Like that could be
Mm.
something someone could create with a picture book and could be a fun activity at the senior center to create a book with pictures and these legacy stories.
Well, they're very important too. Sometimes
Yes,
you think your stories are not that exciting, but you'd be very surprised to
yes,
know how exciting your children or your
yes.
grandchildren find them.
One of my staff members' dad died this week, and she sent me his resume, sorry, his obituary. And I said, wow, what a life well lived. I was actually enjoying reading his obituary and what people said. And then he said, I don't want to have a service because I didn't have a special life.
Oh,
And
wow.
meanwhile, this obituary is like, oh, I'm sure they're all celebrating him. But I don't know what to say about that other than we need to know that every time we impact someone's life, it's special.
Yeah, and you don't understand the weight of the impact you have on others. None of us do, right?
Hmm.
We're sometimes so self-focused or self-aware that
Yeah.
we're not even paying attention to how other people receive us
Yeah.
in the moments. I remember one of our members was passing away, and I sent her a letter and I talked about how important she had been and what a wonderful job that she did and all of the gifts that she brought to our centers. And her daughter read it to her every single day as she was dying
Mm,
to remind her. And she said, I had no idea that I made that much of an impact.
yeah.
So yeah.
That's so lovely. So lovely. Okay. Next is adapting to life changes in relationships.
Aging often brings major shifts, retirement, relocation, the loss of a partner or a friend, and these transitions can leave us feeling untethered.
Yeah. That's why adaptability in a relation is a relationship superpower. In fact, a Harvard study of adult development, one of the longest running studies on happiness, found that close relationships, more than money or fame, are what keep people happy through their lives.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean perfect relationships, but
Yeah.
close ones built on communication, forgiveness, and being fully present.
Yeah. So here's an exercise to build emotional closeness. Pick one person in your life once a week, ask them, how are you really doing? Listen deeply, don't solve, just be present.
That's such an important piece of advice. You are not there to solve everyone's problems.
Right.
Yeah, listening is sometimes the most powerful response. Just being heard.
Yes. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
would say too that I think that there's a I think that this is really, oh gosh, I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying this. And I'm saying it and I'm going to say why. So I think this is easier for women, this part, than for men, because men truly, it's in their nature to want to solve everything,
Hmm.
right? And so for them to really just listen and try not to solve unless they're asked, and yet, I'm not really disparaging men because I love that about men. I love that if I have something that needs to be solved, I can come right out and say that. Could you help me solve this?
Hmm.
Could you help me? And
Hmm.
then there's the eyes light up and
Yeah, but wait for the question.
yeah, wait for the question, right? Make sure you hear me.
Yeah, yeah. My husband and I have to remind ourselves of that. I'm not asking you to solve the problem. I just want you to listen because we
Yeah,
both like to solve
yeah,
problems.
yeah. Okay, so we're going to take a break now and we will return in a few minutes. Thank you.
So now we're going to talk about romantic partnerships and companionship. So let's talk love.
Mhm.
Yes, romance, companionship, connection, love at age is not only possible, it's essential.
Yeah, the national poll on healthy aging reports more than 60% of people age 65 to 80 describe their romantic relationships as very satisfying. And so I was doing a little research and I wanted to know what were the three things that keep love alive as seniors.
Mm.
Number one, prioritize emotional connection through meaningful conversation and express appreciation.
Hmm.
Number two, nurture physical connection, holding hands, cuddling, hanging out together, whatever it is for you at this stage, but don't ignore it. Like make sure that you're physically touching, give each other a hug. And three, have fun and create new experiences.
So are you going to say the three-letter word?
What's that?
Sex?
Oh, I wasn't gonna say it, but that
So,
would be good.
so there were a couple that did an experiment and they agreed to connect for 30 straight days. And regardless of what they made sure they put aside the time, even if they were arguing, even if they
Yeah.
were busy, whatever it was. It was like a contract that they would make sure that they physically connected every day for 30 days in a row. And they wanted to analyze that and take a look at what the outcome was for their relationship. And they found that the physical connection actually helped them with the emotional bond. It helped improve their communication. It helped them navigate arguments better. And they were surprised that that was the outcome
So
of that.
they were the couple
Yeah, the
were
couple was
surprised?
surprised at how it helped with their communication, with
Yeah.
how they problem solved.
Well, wouldn't you
Um,
think that the physical connection, whether it's cuddling,
right.
snuggling, or being intimate, just makes you feel like a couple,
Yep. But I
right?
also think it's important to talk about that here on this podcast because that's also a bit of ageism where people are just afraid to talk about that or
Yeah,
give space for that when
yeah,
people get older. And it's a part of
yeah.
aging
It
healthy.
is. It is. I mean, it's funny when you watch the shows, and there was a great show with Ted Danson this year when he went undercover at an assisted living, and everybody was running around. And yeah, and I think, unfortunately, I think that folks of a certain age is the highest level of STDs too.
Yes, you have to be careful as you get older. Just because you can't get pregnant does not mean.
Yes,
So we
yeah,
do recommend being safe if
absolutely
you're
being
dating.
safe. All right, so if you're partnered with someone, activity, memory lane date, revisit a favorite place, a photo album, or meal from your early days together, relive the joy, and talk about your hopes for the years ahead. And so it's interesting because sometimes I think it's hard to focus on what you think is coming
Mm,
in the years ahead.
mm.
What do you think about the idea of whether people should have a plan, like a plan for retirement?
I think it's very important. And I think especially if I may go down another road that is difficult to talk about,
Mm-hmm.
if you look at even the discussion or around aging, which eventually leads to death for all of us.
Yes.
Connecticut, the last time I read the study, we were number 50 out of all of our states for use of hospice services and actually engaging in dialogue around the process of death
Wow.
or, yeah, and sickness and how we
Okay.
manage that. So I think it's really important for us to be brave enough to go into that space and have those conversations because people, your family wants to know how to support you if you ever find
Right.
yourself in that situation. I also think it's, a great way for us to embrace and celebrate all aspects of life and not to shy away from
Yeah.
that aspect,
Yeah.
that piece of it.
Yeah. Because it is hard to talk about.
It is really hard to talk about
Um, yeah.
for some.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really comfortable talking about it, clearly.
I am too, but you're right. Some people hyper focus on it though,
Yeah, yeah, like
right?
right, right. Or
Which then fear, right?
or that it will upset someone, or you'll make someone feel uncomfortable, or it will make someone sad. But it is part of our journey. It's as much a part of our living and growing and evolving. And so I think there needs to be space to talk about um, to talk about all kinds of plans,
Yeah.
retirement plans,
Yeah.
plans to, yeah, to
Yeah, and
address.
especially my husband and I, now that we're in the chairs, in
But
the
right,
picture.
right.
We have to start, we have to start the conversation now. Okay. Um, okay.
So, to go back to current current discussions, an activity is a memory lane date. I do love this. My son has talked about doing this with his grandmother,
Yeah.
actually. Revisit a favorite place, a photo album, or a meal from your early days together. Relive the joy and talk about your hopes for the
Yeah.
years ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's great. I think that's great because I think when I was younger and my grandmothers were alive, I would actually go hang with them for the weekend. And my son is dating someone who's has three grandparents alive. And so she like once a month, once every 6 weeks, and they both her grandmother and her husband, and then her grandmother, they live in the same apartment house. And so she goes for the weekend and she goes from one apartment to the other and she has sleepovers. And I just think that's so lovely. And she's
I
learning
love
so
that.
much about them.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, if you're a grandparent, do not be afraid to tell your stories, even if you
Yeah.
think they're mundane or
Yeah.
average. They're really fascinating to your grandchildren and even your children. Like,
Yeah.
I love hearing stories from my members about their lives, and I'm always so
Yes.
fascinated at all of the amazing, wonderful, adventurous, paths that they've experienced. And
And I think that's why
yeah,
we're in the work we're in,
yeah,
because we find that fascinating.
yeah, your stories are great. Tell them.
Yes, tell them. Yes,
Yes.
Becky and I will always listen.
We will.
Okay.
And
Friendship, community, and chosen family.
mhm.
So not everyone has a big family, but everyone deserves connection. Sometimes chosen family, our friends and support circles, mean just as much, if not more. So who are these chosen family? They are, here's three ways to know who they are. They're that person that shows up consistently, especially when it matters.
Mm,
They're there, right? Number two, you can be fully yourself around them. I have a friend, my friend from my roommate from college, Jill. We always laugh because we're together. I always go for like a 2 night sleepover, like and visit with her. And then I'll be telling a story and she'll be like, "Who are you talking to?" Like that can't possibly be correct. And I'm like, oh yeah, you know me for what? Too many years, right?
mm,
So we always say that we can't bull crap each other like while we're
mm.
together.
Those are the best friends.
Yes, your relationship is rooted in mutual care, not
And respect.
obligation,
Yeah.
right? That's wonderful, right? They're not obligated to come, but they will.
Mm.
Yeah, like, yes, ask me, right? I will be there if
Hmm.
you need me. And I
Hmm.
always say to my friends, I just don't want to be invited to the bad things. Like, make sure I'm invited to the good things. Like, where they're like, oh, should we, maybe it's too much. I'm like, just let me decide that,
Mm.
right? So invite
Yeah.
your friends, your chosen family to the good things too.
Yeah. Loneliness is a health issue. According to the U.S. Surgeon's 2023 advisory, social disconnection increases the risk of premature death as much as smoking 15 cigarettes a
All
day.
right.
That is amazing.
Yeah, let's repeat that, right?
Okay, so social disconnection increases the risk of premature death as much as smoking 15 cigarettes a day.
Yeah,
That's a wake-up call.
that's huge. Right? Because we know we're not supposed to smoke, but I don't know if people know that.
But do you know you're supposed to have friends? Like it's mandatory for your health to have connections to others.
Yes, it's mandatory to have
It
friends.
is mandatory to go to a senior center and connect to other people if you don't don't
Yeah.
have people, neighbors that you want to connect with.
So here's an activity. Make a list of 5 people you care about but haven't spoken to in a while.
Mm,
Reach out to one, only you have to do one this week. A simple text or call can open the door to connection.
mm.
So you've got 5 people, do it once a week for 5 weeks.
I love that. I
Yeah.
know who I'm calling this week.
Good.
I love
Yes.
that.
And I
Hmm.
shared that I reached out to 2 people. And
Hmm.
it's funny, whenever I read something like this, there's one person who always comes up.
Hmm.
And then I'm like, oh yes, I've got to do that.
Hmm.
But it's funny how that person is in your head, like you just know you have to reach out. So I think that this is such an important topic. This your chosen family, friends, and really don't become isolated. I really That's upsetting to me, this social disconnection.
Hmm.
It's funny, like none of these that we do really, like they're like just statistics, but this one really like got me. The risk of premature death as much as smoking 15 cigarettes a day.
Yeah. It's important to not just hold people in your hearts, but in your minds, but actually reach out to them and connect to them in person.
Because, we are at times, as we get older, get limited in what we can do, how much we can travel. And so we're so fortunate that we have the phone and we have email, right? And we have Zoom. I mean, think about Zoom, like that, just like I was doing Zoom for years before the pandemic, for my other business, but Zoom was like a lifesaver. And so, my mom passed away. I said it's been 3 years. She was 95, but when she was 94, it was still the pandemic. And what we did is we decided to have a big birthday party for her in Zoom. And around 30, 40 people showed up to that Zoom call. And I have this memory of my mom, everybody telling her why they love her, and then my mom repeating back to them why she loved them. And it's such a special recording. And then the following year she really wasn't well enough at 95 to have that big birthday party.
Thank goodness you did that.
Yeah. All right, well, we're coming to the end, and we just want to say thank you for listening again. And we just want to tell you to love well at any age, be courageous. Let's all be warriors for love, for connection, for growth. And here's an affirmation to leave you with. I show up in love with kindness and grace. My relationships are a source of joy, not judgment.
Write it, say it, live it.
Yes. So thank you
for joining us at Seniors Rule Age Like a Warrior. If this episode warmed your heart or sparked a new idea, share it with someone that you love.
And remember, no matter what role you play, you're never too old to deepen connection, start fresh, or grow in love.
See you next time.
Thank you for listening to Seniors Rule Age Like a Warrior. Join us every second Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio. Seniors Rule is here to dismantle the myths around aging, empowering you to embrace your wisdom and experiences as assets that drive personal and societal change. For more information and to connect with us, visit seniorsrulenow.com.